All right, so today, now we're gonna make a little oatmeal. All right, so in my pot already, I have 1 3/4 cups of milk, which has been brought up to where it was just about at a boil, and I've turned it down now to lower that down to a very low flame. I have 1 cup of my rolled oats ready to go, and I'm gonna add a tablespoon of maple syrup just to add a little sweetener to it. And then I'm gonna add one more thing at the end, which I'll show you when we're done. All right, so the milk is hot. Now, when you're bringing the milk up, you want to be very careful. You don't want to scorch the bottom of your pan, right? So you don't want to bring it up too fast. And by scorching, what that means is burning, right? The sugars in the milk will start to burn on the bottom of the pot. That'll alter the entire flavor of your oatmeal. So you want to be very careful not to do that. All right, so I have my milk is hot. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in my oats. And now we're going to just stir those for about 5 minutes. Right, you don't have to stir the entire time, but you do want to come back to them every so often. Okay? And about halfway through the process, I'm going to add that little bit of maple syrup, which is just going to help to add some flavor. All right, so right now the oats are absorbing the milk, right? The heat is helping to really kind of open them up to absorption. And what will happen is they'll start to expand a little as they absorb the liquid. Okay, so at this point, rather than just sit here in silence and watch me stir for the next few minutes, let's take this time to talk a little bit about the health benefits of eating oatmeal, right, and eating oats. So it's very, very nutritious, okay? And really, you can find articles in all kinds of sources that talk about the health benefits to eating oatmeal and why it's such a good thing, right? So number one, okay, oats can lower your cholesterol and they can stabilize your blood sugar, right? So it's a very good source of fiber, and that really good source of fiber can help provide really just a lot of good health benefits for you in terms of your cholesterol, blood sugar, and really it helps you get up and go, right? It kind of just gives you a little extra boost, all right? So that's a good thing. Fiber is a great thing to have in your diet, and when you can add it in the morning in a way like this, it's awesome, right? There are a lot of studies that show that oats can protect your heart, right? They have a lot of health benefits for your heart, which is a good thing. They definitely make for a very easy, very balanced breakfast. As you're going to see, you know, as we go through, just what you can add to it is great. 1 cup of cooked oatmeals is approximately 150 calories and about 4 grams of fiber, which is really, really good, but also 6 grams of protein, which is awesome as well. And if you want to boost the protein, you can add nut butters like almond butter, peanut butter, things like that. Just be very careful about how much sugar you're adding in. That's the thing you want to be really, really mindful of. All right, oats are loaded with really important vitamins and minerals, okay? They're really, really nutrient rich, and that's a really wonderful thing. Again, anytime that you can add nutrients in a really easy way is awesome. Oats are a naturally gluten-free food, okay, which is something that is really good for a lot of people, especially people who have issues with gluten. You do just want to make sure that when you buy your oats that you're not buying oats that are made in a plant or using the same equipment that are processing gluten. That you have to watch out for. When it comes to weight control or weight loss, a lot of people like to turn to oatmeal because of the fact, again, it keeps you feeling full. And that's so important, right? It keeps you away from mid-morning snacking and reaching for things mid-morning that might lead towards some weight gain. So that's something to be very mindful of. All right. And again, just they're easy to make. They're quick to make. They have so many health benefits, right? So really something that should become, if you enjoy them, make them a staple part of your diet, right? Just be very careful about what you're putting in them. That's the big key, right? Whatever you put in, you have to remember you have to count those calories as well. And that's where a lot of people do run into problems. So let's get back to some oatmeal. At this point, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of my syrup. And I'm going to continue to stir. You can see how it's starting to kind of come together. You can see They're starting to look like they've puffed up a little bit. And just another couple of minutes, and that oatmeal will be ready to go. All right, so it's now been about 5 minutes. The oatmeal is done. Kind of come in here, take a look. You can see how it's all absorbed. It looks good. All right, what I'm going to add now, what I like to add to oatmeal myself, is a little bit of peanut butter. So I have about 1.5 tablespoons of just some creamy peanut butter. I'm going to add that right in it. It's going to add a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of flavor. Also add a little more protein. It's already rich in protein, but it's going to add just a little more. And I'm just going to go ahead and give that a stir. And the heat is going to melt the peanut butter. So we're going to get this really nice, even, right? And now you get to decide. If you want it to be a little looser, you could add a little bit more milk. All right, if you like it a little bit thicker, that's all up to you, right? There's preference involved in it. So I'm just going to bring this over to my bowl. I'm going to spoon that out. And now I could add some other things to this. If I wanted to add some dried fruit, maybe some dried cranberries, some fresh fruit, some raspberry, some strawberry. You wanted to add a tiny little bit of jelly or jam or something, or a nice preserve would be nice as well. Want to go a little chocolate, you could add some chocolate chips and throw that in as well. Right, all of these things, again, it's like a blank canvas. You can kind of play around with it, tailor it to the flavors that you enjoy. And then you have a nice, really hearty, wholesome, hot breakfast on a winter morning. It's going to really warm you up. But now we'll take a look at its cousin, the overnight oat. We'll take a look at that next. All right, so oatmeal is done, right? And wonderful, really hearty, really wholesome breakfast. Great during the winter time. But during the summertime, do you really want a hot bowl of oatmeal? Probably not. So there's an alternative to that, right? It's also something that's a little bit faster in the morning, right? And this is called overnight oats. So to make overnight oats, you literally need 2 ingredients. You need oats and liquid, okay? You could do this with water, but there'd be absolutely no flavor. So what I have here is some almond milk, and you can literally use just the oats and the liquid and be good to go. But also still kind of boring, all right? So let's go through. I'm going to add a few things to it. I have 1 cup of rolled oats, 1 cup of almond milk. This is an unsweetened vanilla almond milk. I then have 1 tablespoon of Greek vanilla yogurt, 2 tablespoons of a nut butter, and you can use any kind of nut butter. I'm actually using this mixed nut butter from Costco. All right, I love this one. Almonds, cashews, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, and flax seeds. All right, the chia seeds and flax seeds have a lot of really, really important health benefits. A lot of people, when they make overnight oats, add the seeds directly in. This is kind of a little bit of a cheap method of getting those seeds in, but also getting some of the flavor of the nuts in there as well. The other thing that's important with this particular nut butter is there's only 2 grams of sugar, okay, as opposed to some peanut butters and things that have a lot more sugar than that. It's going to have a lot less sugar, which is going to be a little bit healthier for you. All right, I'm also going to add just a little bit of vanilla as well, and a little bit of maple syrup for flavor, okay? And the maple syrup will give just a little bit of sweetness, but also while giving some really good flavor. So what we're going to do, really simple, all right? I have a container. You can use any kind of airtight container. If you want to use a mason jar, I'm using a pint container with a lid, which I'll be able to keep airtight. What we're going to do is we're going to start by adding in our milk. I'm going to go ahead and add in my yogurt. I'm going to add in that peanut butter, or that nut butter rather. I'm going to give that a mix, but I'm not going to mix that all the way through. That's going to kind of streak the peanut butter or the nut butter all the way throughout the oats. Some people you'll see will actually melt down the nut butter before adding it in. I like to do it this way because it's gonna allow for some streakiness of the nut butter, and then the spoonfuls will get a little, almost like little chunks of it. That piece doesn't want to come off, so it's not going. I'm going to add my 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. Now I'm going to go ahead, have a small little whisk, and I'm just going to give that a mix. Get that all mixed up, kind of break it all up a little bit, and then we'll get ready to add in our oats. Now, doing it this way, it's kind of giving me the container that I'm going to eat it in, right? So I'm going to make it, and then in the morning, I'll be able to grab it right out of my refrigerator, and it's basically ready to go, except for adding some toppings, which we'll talk about in a minute. All right, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add the oats. And then I'm just going to use that rubber spatula to kind of press them in and make sure that they're really nice and coated. Make sure that the milk has kind of made its way through all of the oats, but really want to press them down. Now again, you could use, like I said, a glass mason jar. I actually have, if I wanted to make a larger batch to last for a few days, I could use a quart container, or I have a container like this one right here that has a nice airtight lid. Container like that's kind of fun because you can throw some toppings in on the top as well. So if you were taking that to eat, like you know, for your lunch or for a late breakfast or something, you could go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm going to scrape that off. Now I'm just going to add my lid. Press down to get that air out. All right, and now this is ready to go into the refrigerator. And this is going to sit in the refrigerator overnight, hence the name, overnight oats. But you could get away with like 5 to 6 hours as a minimum, but you definitely want to leave time. What's going to happen while it's sitting, the oats are absorbing the liquid. While they're absorbing, they're going to start to soak up the liquid, the oats, and they're going to expand and soften and make them really nice and edible and really flavorful. So I'm going to put that in the refrigerator. I'm going to take one out that we made in advance. So we'll go ahead and open this up. And what you can see is that the oats, you can see how different that is, and you can see the creaminess that we have in there now, right? And this is ready to go. I could eat this just as is, but we want to have a little more fun with this, right? So we can add some different things. So I have some berries here. I've got some raspberries and some blackberries, which with the peanut butter are going to go really nice. I'm just going to sprinkle those right on the top. A couple of blackberries on there. And now I have the granola that we made in a previous lesson. And I'm just going to spoon some of that granola right on top. That's going to give some nice crunchiness, right? Not too much. So the thing with both your oatmeal or your overnight oats is they can be very healthy, right? Especially when you look at them compared to those instant versions that you can buy in the store. If you're buying the instant versions, you really need to pay attention to the ingredients, right? Because again, a lot of them are high in sugar, preservatives. So you really want to be careful and watch what you're buying. This is going to be a little bit of work on your end, but a little bit cheaper, definitely healthier. And then you have these things at the ready. Now think about the benefit to this compared to waking up in the morning and having to make that bowl of oatmeal, where now you have to get that milk heated, right, at the cooking time. So if you wake up in the morning and you don't have a lot of time, being able to grab this out of the refrigerator and be ready to go with just a couple of really ready to eat toppings, that's a really healthy breakfast. It's going to keep you full, Okay, and that's one of the big things with oats is they really do keep you full for a long time, right? It's a very substantial meal. So really good, have them on hand. Can you eat this hot? The answer is yes. So you could take these out in the morning, pour them into a microwave safe dish, pop it right in the microwave, 30 to 40 seconds, make sure it's hot, right, to the heat that you like, right, whatever temperature is your preference, okay? But you can eat these cold, they're delicious. Again, summertime, you can still have your oats, healthy. I mean, look at this. This looks so really just appetizing and delightful, and it's ready to go, right? So you can make this ahead. You can make 4 or 5 of these, get them ready for the week. Makes it really simple. Each morning you get up, you have that really wonderful breakfast. Can't beat it, right? And it really is quite delicious. So hope you try it and enjoy.